Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ladies, gentlemen, ooh, ooh, ooh. Gamers, welcome back. Ooh, ooh, ooh. We are back once again. It has been 2 weeks, and that means we are back on the patch notes. So, I'm hoping to God a plumber that I called does not come while I'm doing this. I'm hoping to hopefully get through this nice and quick, and we'll see what's going on. So, League is pretty interesting in many ways. Over time. But for right now, at least, kind of shortening the scope. League has gone through, I think, the biggest controversy ever, which is the Hex Tech chess shit. Which, as I've said, I don't know if it was the last one or before the last one. So okay, either 2 weeks or 4 weeks ago. But I think we have gotten the best iteration of chess thus far, which is great. I think aside from that, game balance wise, this is where I'm a little out of touch because I've just been nonstop playing Arena, not even ARAM, just really Arena. So we've been on that. And then aside from that, we have pretty much, I don't think, as far as I know, any other controversy. I mean, esports is going on. That's probably the best it's ever been because of the new draft thing where you have to not reuse champions, which is great. I think right now we're probably in like a cooldown phase. We kind of got through like the big Apex controversy shit. Now we're just kind of chilling. So let's see what's going on. This should be the patch with the garbage ass. Excuse me, the garbage ass. Not Anima Squad, but Battle Academia skins. And these ones are very interesting for a number of reasons, but I'll get into that more at the end. But let's just say, Riot, even though they're past most of the controversy, I think, we're still not past the one thing, which is skin, what is it called? Skin quality. I think skin quality is, ironically enough, going up after this, because I just saw the teaser for the PBE skins for April Fools, and my god, are they good. But wow, these Battle Academia skins are very mixed bag. Very mixed bag, to say the least. But either way, let's get right into it. Let's see what's up. Let's see what's going on. So, patch 25.06. Detected. Please read for more details. So this is from Riot Riru. I wonder if they actually write this shit themselves or if they get ChatGPT to do it. So either way, in this week's patch, we've got quite a few changes, as always. On the gameplay side of things, we've got more balance changes and system tuning. I wonder if they're going to change Otacon once again. I think Otacon might be in a good spot, but again, I'm very out of the loop with Rift, so who knows. We're pushing champion bounty suppression the hardest it's been pushed, attempting to fully remove them when your team is even moderately behind as early as 6 minutes. We're also leaving the anti-lane swap minion penalties introduced last patch. Wow. And even more news, Neferi's mid-scope debuts this patch. Oh shit, okay, cool. I'm actually very excited for that one. And her W and R have changed places. This is where, ironically enough, and I might mention this more later, but they do that a lot. She can go untargetable now, otherwise we've got significant updates to Gwendolyn and Singed, plus another 24 smaller balance changes as usual. It's not a crazy patch. The biggest thing is probably Neferi's thing, and in my opinion, Gwen's thing, because I'm a Gwen lover. Outside of gameplay, we've also quite a lot of things going on. We're launching an update to Vanguard, so you'll get LP back when a cheater lost you a game. That's actually insane. We've got our new champion mastery icons going out. Expect a few small changes on the way next patch. Nice. The return of your shop, which is great. Which a lot of us thought, similar to the chest, we're not going to return because Riot became greedy. But apparently not that greedy. Another round of Battle Academia skins, which have been blah for some of them. And a big update to the Mythic Essence shop. And they emphasized big. Make sure to read it all on the notes for more details. Thanks for dropping by, and see you on the Rift. And TFT is getting the new set soon, so that's going to be a whole big thing. And as much as I love TFT, I don't want to cover 2 patch notes, so fuck that. But either way, let's skip all this. So, Vanguard LP refunds and new ban notifications. So, cheaters suck. No duh. And this is where they massively reduce the amount of cheaters. I'm telling you, over time, League has gotten better in so many things. Toxicity, I think, is at very historic lows. Not maybe all-time lows, but very historic lows. I barely see toxicity to what it used to be. This is where the new player gameplay experience is great. The amount of information they give you is great. You know, just the level of easiness to the game. They really lowered the skill floor. The skill floor is easier than ever, I think, to get into, and everything is probably the best it's been, besides maybe like, you know, minute balance changes. But even with cheaters too, I think cheaters have been like very, very low. But either way, encountering one in game has been widely qualified by scientists as a one-star experience. While it's satisfying to see cheaters get banned, playing against one can still leave an innocent player with a defeat, yes, and a bad taste in their mouth. So starting with 25.06, we'll be offering remedy for the former, and if Vanguard determines that a player lost a ranked game due to an active cheater, which should be very rare, will be refunding the LP lost as a result of that game once the cheater is suspended. So this is interesting. So they're not going to give you any LP back. Like, they're not going to make you gain LP. They're just going to give you what you lost, which I think is fair. One of my main concerns was, oh, if you have a cheater and they give you extra LP, that might disrupt the ranked ladder's integrity and just the ranked ladder in general. But they're just giving it back to what you were. I think this is perfectly fair. This is perfectly fine, and it's great. I wonder if they're going to push it past this to players who troll your games, but at that point you might have intentional trolling to kind of save the game, but we'll see. I don't think they should go that far because that could be very easily abused. So LP refunded, a cheater was detected there, and you got your LP back. Cool. I wonder if this can actually like push you up a rank, and it looks like it could, because this guy got to Diamond 1 20 LP, and he got 22, so that means he was Diamond 2 98 LP. So when a refund happens, you'll receive a notification on your next login telling you when the match occurred, how much LP you'll be credited, and identifying your upgraded rank in beautiful, bold Beaufort lettering. I think I said that right. I don't think so. I don't know, though. We won't be removing LP from those that inadvertently won with a cheater on their team, which is good. Only restoring it to those that suffered a loss. However, any account that's found intentionally and repeatedly queuing with cheaters, also known as hitchhiking or bussing, I almost read that as bussy, will be banned right alongside them. Good. Cheater beamed. Oh my lord. Also in this patch, we'll be introducing our second favorite notification, reporter feedback. The Vanguard team heavily utilizes in-game reports to best direct their attention. So keep that loop as accurate as possible. Report what you see as bad. Cool. They should really give you... I really feel like these things should be incentivized. It's the same thing I say with the New York City subway system. You should be given some sort of compensation for keeping the streets clean, so to say. I feel like if you report someone and they get banned and it's just and it's legitimate, you should get maybe nothing crazy like RP. That I think would be like the best scenario, but also dangerous. Unless it's small amounts, because at that point, what if you just report people for just like having a bad game, right? I think you should be giving like maybe some XP boosts or something. So, something a little bit, you know, a little pizzazz on top. I think that'd be great. Because we used to have the tribunal system way, way back in the day, and I don't even want to open up that can of worms, but the tribunal system was by the players, for the players, which was very interesting. By the way, Champion Mastery. In this patch, we're releasing our new Champion Mastery icons. I wish they showed them here, but they're not. We've made these updates based on requests from all of you to bring the emotes we introduced last year more in line with the previous versions, while still giving them a fresh look. So this is, in my opinion, nonsense. I don't know why they're even paying attention to this, but whatever. They're still making tweaks, and they're going to come through next patch, but for some reason they're telling them this patch. Cool. It's like a pre-order almost. Your shop is back. Cool. It's coming this patch, which is tomorrow, I believe. And then it'll be back God knows when. But this is good. Anyway, let us keep going. So, on to the champion changes. Caitlyn. This is the weird part. Right before I left Rift, I started playing Caitlyn. And I actually felt, for the first time in a long time, maybe it was the skin I was using, because one of the main issues I feel with Caitlyn is she feels not that great, just auto-attack-wise. But I was using Pulse Fire. Caitlyn, for some odd reason, and she still has the same issue, she still kind of falls off a little bit mid-game. She felt really good, and I was so shocked. I was like, I hate Caitlyn, and now I'm playing Caitlyn, and it felt not bad, which it usually didn't. So what are they doing? Caitlyn's looking to be quite strong at the moment, which is due to the amount of guaranteed damage within her kit. Looking to tone down some of her point-and-click damage. Wow. So her headshot damage is getting nerfed by 5 base, 10 bonus. The 10 bonus hurts. And then her R, which I think sometimes is literally just used for poke, the damage on it looks like a lot, but it ends out not being a lot. It's very, not confusing. It's very misleading. Either way, this is getting nerfed by 50, and that's it. I'm fine with that. Great. Kalen's slightly worse. Cool. Corki. I think Corki is kind of OP just from his kit. I think that he scales like a fucking truck. He literally gets, what is it, 15 or 20% free true bonus damage in his autos that can crit? Oh, nah. Corki is a little overbearing at higher skill brackets in bot lane, so they're nerfing him. His base armor is going down, and the less you have, the more it matters. Corki's a little bit worse. Darius, I'm assuming he's going to get a buff because he has the prestige skin. Darius says Skyrocket has the best jungle to play with his new move speed build. That is crazy. Since we don't want to nerf top lane Darius, we're hitting only his jungle. We've got 12 separate lines that are mathematically proven to be equivalent in all... Oh, wow, never mind. So, they're just nerfing the jungle damage of the bleed. I think that's fair. The bleed is ridiculous. Cool. Darius is a little bit worse. Draven. Draven has been making the Noxus season his, and it's been a bit painful for those unfortunate enough to go up against him. This is where I feel like Draven is a very much skill-related champion. If you're going to do good on Draven, you should be rewarded handsomely as well. This is where it always goes into the argument. If a champion's hard, but you master them, should you just insta-win most of the time against people, who are bad? Yes. But this is where how hard should you win and, how bad do they have to be? Draven is really like once he gets going, he just doesn't stop, right? He's a hyper carry in the kind of middle sense. I think late game there's obviously carries that are better than him, but man does he ramp up fast. But I guess they're trying to make League easier. I mean, with all the jungle timers, the jungle pathing, the ability leveling recommendations they do, the item recommendations, literally everything has made the game easier. I think this kind of makes it so good people aren't as rewarded. I don't personally agree with this. I think Draven is fine. And I actually forgot if they nerfed his passive loss. I think they did, where you lose more if you die. So it's really feast or famine. But I think they might have lessened it, but I'm not too sure. I haven't played Draven in a hot minute. But I still think they really shouldn't touch Draven. I think Draven is like the premier feast or famine, very risk versus high reward AD. And it's kind of sad to see them fucking it. But how bad are they fucking it? Assembling in higher skill brackets is getting out of hand, so we're looking to remove one of the more niche mechanics. So this is where I feel like if he wins, he's going to win hard. But if he's winning and his team's losing, it's going to be hard for him. Because now we have all these things like Otacon, like Triumph, the stupid extra boots. Those things are going to make it tough for Draven. So I feel like it just feels oppressive when it is, and it's supposed to be. Draven no longer gets 2 bonus iteration stacks for every 6 kills. That's sad, man. But I think that's fair. They don't do anything else. Ezreal. Ezreal has a lot of skins. He's probably going to get buffed. Ezreal has been a high presence and overbearing in general recently. And if Ezreal is good, that usually means either A, he's ridiculously OP, or B, every other AD really sucks. So let's see which one it is. He's pretty hard to catch, as he should be, and his builds often involve building decent amounts of HP because he builds unlike any other AD, making him both hard to lock down and take down. This patch we're lowering his scaling armor so HP purchases are less efficient. His armor scaling is going a little bit down. Cool, he's a little bit worse. Nothing crazy. Fiora. So Fiora is, I think, a champion that's very highly used by the Asian continent. Definitely NA and Europe cannot use her as well as them. China goes fucking crazy with her. I've seen so many clips of Chinese Fioras popping every single of the passive from the ult in like a second. And I'm like, how the fuck are they doing this shit? Like, it's crazy. But that's very much a skill cap thing. I think Fiora is a very skill cap champion, and over here in the West, we're not like that. So they're probably going to buff Fiora because I've seen almost no Fiora, and Fiora is decent. You just need to be skilled. Or maybe she just isn't good. I don't know. I haven't played Rift in a hot minute. Fiora's at an all-time historic low in terms of play rate and specifically performing much worse in lower skill brackets than she used to. Well, of course, she's a skilled champion. One notable sadness is that she's pretty much required to buy Ravenous Hydra. She can't rely solely on her abilities to clear waves. Damn. And that's kind of what I don't like. Over time, what League has become is just wave clear. But either way. We'd like to open up how often she can use her abilities, so we're dropping Q's mana cost substantially. I don't think, and I don't know because I'm not fully a Fiora player, but I don't think she ever really had mana issues. I can pretty much count on one hand the people who have mana issues. Blitz is one of them. I think Malzahar is another if you're stupid with it. Not many people have a lot of mana issues. But the mana cost getting slashed in half is cool. I don't think it's anything crazy. Garen. Oh boy, what are they doing to my boy? So he is getting a new skin that I saw, and the skin's amazing. I won't spoil anything here, but I think it's almost legendary tier, and it's actually a good legendary, other than what we're gonna see later on in the patch here. What are they doing? Garen is crowding out a lot of other top laners and deals a shocking amount of mid-game damage with his crit builds, which is insane, leading to a sort of tanky assassin play pattern. This is where Pobelter, a pro player named Pobelter, has been saying this for a while. Garen is a annoying fly champion that is literally like a bruiser tanky assassin that comes in, assassinates, and then gets out. It's crazy. We like to reduce how much his burst damage is dealing by weakening his crit binding, which won't nerf his more balanced Juggernaut builds. So the interesting thing is that they don't mention here, and I don't know if they're aware of it, if they know it or what, but one of Garen's biggest things, one of the biggest buffs he got was, I believe it's called Axiom Arcanist. This rune that now increases true damage buffs his ult. His ult, which already does true damage based on their missing health, will now do, I think, 15% more, which is crazy. And I don't know if people have picked up on it or not, but I think inadvertently, if this is the reason why they're nerfing Garen, I think it's fair, but they're not saying it, so I don't know if they know it. But either way, the damage on critical strikes is going down by 25% from 175 to 150. I think this is going to hurt Garen a little bit. I think ultimately it's going to make him... I think it needs to be balanced. I think Garen is a strong champion. He's so simple, but he's so strong. And as an AD man, I'm a little biased, but it can feel pretty oppressive. Unlike a lot of the other changes here, I think this actually kind of does make sense and is okay. Excuse me. Because Garen almost has everything. He has survivability, he has damage, he has a lot of options. And when people have options, stack them up like Stockton. But this is when they have options, Riot doesn't like that because it means they can't really be easily countered. Just look at Kaisa. Anyway, moving forward to Gwen. Oh my dear lord, what is this? We haven't even gotten to Naafiri yet. So I'm really scared for this. I've heard inklings of what this is going to be, and I don't know how I feel about it. I'm going to reserve opinions until we actually read it. But I absolutely love Gwen. Gwen is one of my favorite champions. I think she's one of the best late game champions. Not the best. I've been taught that the hard way. But I think she does ludicrous amounts of damage. Healing, true damage, max health damage. If you need someone to do damage, she is your gal, except she just takes a while. And her early game is literally the hardest and worst part to get through, but once you're through that, you have fun. Kind of similar to Kayle. Just, in my opinion, a little bit harder, but also not as bad. So what are they doing? Gwen was originally intended to be a lightly scaling AP fighter. I'll tell you what they did. They built her full AP. And her kit's design and strengths reflect that. Not anymore. However, over time she shifted towards late game scaling and she's been closer in power curve shape to a hyper scaler like Kayle. Haha. As opposed to a lightly scaling fighter like Fiora. Fiora also scales pretty well. We believe that the best version of Gwen is one where her Q stack and gameplay and E-dash are actually powerful and fun tools to work with in the laning phase. The laning phase is the worst option, but usually what they do is they shave off late game and they give back to laning. They did the same thing for Kayle too, ironically enough. For Kayle didn't get ranged, I think, till 11. So until 11, you were just basically suffering, and then they switched it. And then they made it to where they took off her late game power for a little early game power as well, to make it not as bad, because God, it was terrible. But I don't know how I'm going to feel if they're doing this here, but it sounds like they are. I feel like the Q stacking and E-dash are still powerful and fun, just not in the laning phase. And potentially even in the jungle. But today she tends to play to scale and win teamfights with only needlework casts, which is crazy. I believe that's her ult. We still want players to be able to take over games as Gwen, but by using her entire kit rather than farming up a bunch of gold and throwing ultimate needles. Her ultimate does a lot of damage too, but let's see. I'm actually all for putting it to the rest of her kit. I don't really... I like the ultimate, but not for nuking, just for setting up everything else, because the slow is pretty good. I don't think it's a decaying slow, which most things are nowadays. So health growth is down. Base health is up. Okay, so more early game oriented. Her passive. So it's still at 1%. It's going to scale slightly less, which is Damage to monsters is halved. But that's whatever. I don't play Gwen jungle anyway. So the final snip damage is going up. Okay, cool. It's going up almost at all times. Nice. Actually, at all times. Okay, cool. So the max damage is going from 110 to 120, 160, 170. So it's basically getting increased by 10, but way later on. Or way more later on. Cool. So the W resistances are now 25 at all ranks and has a slightly less scaling, so you're not getting as much, but it's not too much of a big difference, which, I mean, you know, scaling later on it is, but not a big difference, but a decent enough difference, which I think is fine. I think the W giving what it did and doing what it does is kind of criminal, and I'm surprised it got past that. In a similar way to Mel's Reflect being better than Samira's, and Samira's only being 0.75 was like criminal to me, but they fixed that swiftly. And with Gwen, they still haven't, in my mind, made it fair. I think this is still an OP ability, but I think this is still fine. It's still very good. So the E, the cooldown is going down. Oh, wow. The cooldown refund is 50% on all ranks. So late game, it's not going to be nothing. But early game, you're going to be able to use this a lot more. And we might actually see a return of maybe Emax, although I hope not. I like Max and Q. But they did Emax at some point, I believe. Unless I'm crazy. And then the on-hit damage is going up. Wow, so they really want to incentivize the E. Holy shit. And then the R, which is undoubtedly probably getting nerfed. So what is happening to the R here? The R is getting the damage reduced, both in scaling and in base, which is fine. The initial slow is 60 at all ranks, which is a huge buff. And the reduced slow is now 25. Wow, so the oh god, what is that called? The utility of the ult is way better than it's ever been. The damage is slightly worse. Overall, I think this is fine. The biggest thing I'm hurt by is the passive damage, because that's what I like the most. And that's what bleeds into the rest of your kit. But overall, as long as the numbers aren't too crazy, I really like this. But I really hope they don't nerf the passive, because this is not the first time I believe they've nerfed the passive. But honestly, I really like these, and I can't wait eventually, whenever it is, to play Gwen again in Rift. Cool. So J4 is next. Excuse me, what's happening with Jarvan? Jarvan has fallen off because he's very simple, and he either needs number buffs or a full rework. So what are they doing? We're buffing his Q base damage and scaling as one of the most reliable damage tools. No way. So they're nerfing... No, they're buffing the base damage and the bonus AD. This guy is going to end up doing what he always does when they overbuff him. He's either going to be too tanky while still doing some damage, or he's going to literally be one-shotting the carries by EQing and then ulting them. Like, that's what he does. He's almost like an assassin, similar to Garen. Either way, he's clearly better. Oh my god, Jhin. Jhin has been weak for a while now, and they always do this where they bug fix him, which is basically just nerfing something he's abusing. But I really feel like Jhin is one of the best, most popular ADs. I love him. One of my favorite ADs in this game. Very unique, very cool. But really has not been good, especially in the meta where I think people are tankier again. When you're going against tanks, Jhin feels like shit now. He didn't feel the best before. Like, obviously, Vayne, Kog'Maw are better. But man, Jhin just does not feel good. Even against squishies, it feels like he takes a while to get going. So I definitely think Jhin needs some help. He's definitely on the lower end of the bracket. Jhin is weaker than we'd like him to be, and he's become a bit more early game skewed over the years, which is crazy, because he was ideally a mid to late game person, which means he has more room for mid to late game buffs, and this patch we're looking to bring back some powerful 2-item spike builds, and generally improve his scaling. Let's see what they're doing. So the bonus AD, which was 4 to 44, which is very nice, and then scaled, is now 4 to 44, and is now getting higher per crit chance, and higher per bonus attack speed. I already built attack speed boots on him. I think this is pretty good. But, I gotta see how much of a difference this has. I wish they would put, like, example numbers here, but, hey, a buff is a buff. I love this shit. I don't think it's enough to make Jhin meta. I think that really depends on items and what he can abuse or not, but, man, I am ready. Oh my god, Jinx, what are they doing to my girl? I hope they're buffing her. But I think, from what I remember, Jinx is in a decently good spot, so let's see what they're doing. If I was given something, like whether to buff her or something, I don't know which one they're going to do, but I don't know what they would even hit. Her Q? Her Q is, like, I think the bread and butter of her shit. I really don't know. Jinx is running wild at just about all ranks at the moment. No! Her ultimate is a powerful tool at all stages of the game. I don't think that's fully true. Regardless of the game states, this patch we're aiming to pull down that all-around threat. Her ult did get buffed in major ways in the past that they never almost fully took away. One of the best things was this thing used to outperform Smite, which was crazy. But let's see. Because they recently buffed the Ashes one, and then they kind of nerfed it. Big AoE global ults were meta at one point, and I guess they were like creeping back in with the Ashe buff, and now with Jinx's ult being so good, but it's obvious they don't want that, so they're nerfing everything. So let's see what they're doing. The base damage is going down, the scaling is going down, the missing health is the same. That is honestly fine. This is okay, it's slightly weaker. Cool. Kaisa. Kaisa, I feel like, is in a similar thing to Jhin, just not as bad. I think she's better than Jhin. But she's definitely not in her heyday like she was. But that's because they've nerfed like all the other builds she goes, except for AD, which is not that good on her to begin with. But let's see what they're doing. Kai'Sa doesn't tend to be weak early game, but her current state is so weak, there's not much reason to pick her. Wow. We're giving her... What happened to scaling ADCs, man? We're giving... Oh, I know what happened. Mage is in the bot lane. We're giving her some breathing room in lane by upping her armor and health regen, while also giving her more frequent access to her exciting tool, her ultimate. So her base armor is up. Again, the less you have, the more it matters, which is nice. Regen's up. And then her ult cooldown is going down by 10. This is whatever. This doesn't really matter. It's alright, but it's whatever. Karma. Karma is very interesting. She's a jack of all trades, so when she's good, she's really fucking good. I think she has skill cap, though, so it's the same question I always ask with Draven. If you're good at Karma, which I don't think is too hard, let's be real. If you're good at Karma, though, do you deserve it? I don't think too much. I think Karma can be very oppressive and almost feel like what are you supposed to do? I don't know if she's in that point now. I don't know if she's weak or strong, but I always say League just bounces back and forth between these states by doing different things. So let's see. Karma has quickly risen the ranks to become arguably the strongest mage enchanter support in the game. Wow. We're happy she returned from the depths of non-viability, but she needs to perform a bit worse. So what are they going to nerf? Her damage. Her Q is going down by 10. Wow, that's almost nothing. We're also nerfing her OP Emax. What? These nerfs will affect her most common Q-Max build, but weaken her early laning phase, also nerfing her sleeper OP Emax build. The fact that they're saying it too. But is this literally just 10 damage? Yeah, it is. Who cares? Wow. This champion is one of my most hated champions. He either needs to be reworked or honestly just rework him. I hate the isolation thing. It's cool in practice, but I think it's so hard to pull off. And unless you giga buff him to where it's literally a stat check, which who knows if it should be or not. Riot always loves their counterplay word, but I hate this champion. This champion needs a fucking update. Kha'Zix isn't currently in the best shape. When is he ever? So what are they doing? They're buffing his passive by... Ooh, and bonus AD. I was going to say by a base amount and bonus AD is not bad. And then the leap damage is going up from 20 to 40 bonus AD. Wow, they're really doubling down on this shit. Holy shit. So he's going to scale. Not by much, but still, the damage is surprising. Lilia, oh Lilia, I feel like she's not good. I feel like Lilia, her whole fantasy is cool, but I feel like they nerfed her a bit too much. And she's been out of the meta for a while now. And Lilia, I feel like, is one of the coolest champions to watch. I really like her. It's very hype moments with the ult, too. But let's see. Also, I'm sure Dumbs will appreciate this, as will I. If I was famous, I'd be probably... I don't know if I'd be more well-known for liking Lilia than Dumbs is, but man, I do love the horse girl. So Lilia's a bit weak right now. She's due for some buffs. Swirl Seed's cooldown is a little bit too punching for how liberally we think she should be able to bowl. Also, Lilia has a really bad bug right now where if you ult a little bit after you apply the passive, it actually goes on cooldown but doesn't proc. It's actually a crazy huge bug. Let's see what they're doing. So the Swirl Seed cooldown is going from 14 to 12. This is hard to hit. It is AoE technically, but it's hard to hit and the AoE is not that big. So I think this is fair. I think this is a long time coming, honestly. The damage is going up by 10% too, which is great. This is mainly just used for engagement. I don't think the damage is too high unless you get really late game where like she's scaled out. And even then, it's not anything amazing, but... Either way, Lily's a little bit better. Lucian. Lucian is shit. He's pretty much been shit unless he's OP with, again, usually a support like Nami. They made him very dependent because they hated him going mid lane and at some points top lane. So they made him very dependent on support, and unless the supports are good or he's good, he can be very oppressive too. He's in almost a similar boat to Draven in my eyes, but he also takes a little bit of skill. But when Lucian gets going, man, is it hard to stop him. But I really like Lucian. I just don't play him often. I feel like his range is the biggest hurdle. But also just his reliance on what is the current flavor of the bot lane, which Usually, if it's mages, it's not favoring him too much. But either way, what are they doing? I'd like to give him a little bit more power, giving him some mobility. I don't think he needs some more mobility that he can use aggressively in early laning phase and mid game with the goal of making him succeed as a high octane aggressive ADC. So the cooldown of E is going down only early from 19 to 16. I mean, that's good. And you got to remember, this gets reduced by the passive too, the double shot. So I think this is okay. Is it going to have a huge impact? No. Is it noticeable? I think yeah. Master Yi. I think Yi sucks dick. I think Yi has not been good for a while. And I honestly think he needs like a mid-scope update or something kind of similar to what Neferi's getting, which we should be getting to soon, but Yi definitely needs some help. And again, I haven't played Yi, but just thinking of playing Yi gives me the EBGBs. So what are they doing? Master Yi has several built-in on-demand defensive options. Oh yeah, his W, his Q, that's pretty much it. Unless you count the move speed from the ult as a defensive option. The times where he is attackable, he should probably be more vulnerable. We're targeting his armor growth to make sure these periods of vulnerability are more clearly weak. What? They're nerfing him? We're increasing the bonus crit damage ratio on Alpha Strike to allow Crit Master Yi to be more viable. Man, they really are pushing Crit Yi so hard, but it's not good. Armor growth is less, which is sad. The crit strike damage is going from 7 to 100. That is pretty good, but listen, on hit is the best one, let's be real. I doubt we'll ever see a day, unless they keep buffing this shit, where Assassin Yi is good, because it's literally unfair. Unless they're going to rework him, Assassin Yi is literally like... How do you counter that? Oh my god, I just cracked my neck. Ooh. Alright, Neferi. Mid-scope update. So Neferi is very interesting. Right. When Neferi released, I really liked her. And I still think she's good. I just think the main issue people have with her is she's so... And I don't know why this is an issue for most people. We do need to have champions like this, but the main thing I've heard is she's so simple. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, but I guess that could lead to just unfun. If a champion is so simple, it kind of feels boring. But Neferi is very interesting. They're doing to her, I heard, what they've basically done to a lot of other champions, and it's been successful. Tahm Kench and Diana are the biggest receivers of this. All they do is they switch their W, and they switch their ult. Diana got this switched, and Tahm Kench especially got this switched, and they've been great ever since. So what are they doing? Neferi released as a simple-to-play mid-lane assassin. Since then, she has struggled to find an audience. In retrospect, the target was not the ideal version of Neferi. Yeah, she's like a summoner-type champion. She's similar to Heimer in a way, almost. We're going to add some depth and outplay potential to her kit while also opening up her to be played in the jungle. I always thought she'd be better in the jungle anyway, but... To do this, we're swapping her W, Hound's Pursuit, and R, Call of the Pack. They've been adjusting, obviously, accordingly. In addition, casting Call of the Pack now makes Neferi untargetable, similar to Yi, which is insanely big for outplay, making it useful as a situational damage ability or a tool to hold for outplay. Last note, given her pack-based theme, it felt like a good opportunity to bump up the presence of her Dagger Dogs. She'll passively get more of them running around with her as the game progresses, and Call of the Pack now provides a non-ultimate way to refresh her pack on demand, which is great, which is what she needed. So her base stats are getting pretty much almost nerfed, except her base damage. The passive. So the max pack mates is now going up to 5, because it used to get double with the ult, so now they're just spreading it out more. Who knows if they'll change it with the W now, but you're getting 5 later on. The pack mate damage is getting lessened, which is fine because there's more of them. The health is getting lessened. The armor MR is getting lessened. The AoE damage taken is getting buffed, which is cool. The pack mates reduce damage from towers getting up. Who's a real monster? They now deal more damage to monsters, so that's for the jungle. And the taunt duration is now a little bit less, but still pretty long. Her Q damage to minions is higher, so she has some wave clear. And now here's her old ultimate. So Neferi and her pack mates gain 1 second of untargetability, which is big. Bonus AD is now 20% across the board, and this is granted on cast. The extra pack mates is now just 2. So before, how many could you have? You'd have 3 plus another 4, which is 6 at max. Now you have 2 plus 5, which is 7. So you're ultimately having more with this. The buff duration is now only 5 seconds. The bonus move speed is now obviously less. The cooldown is a lot less. The mana cost is less, and then this no longer grants her a shield and a pulse of vision, and will no longer reset, which I think is fine. And they will no longer, the pack mates will no longer bonus health. I honestly think this is great as a natural ability. I think this, obviously, again, just builds massive outplay potential. Like, it's the same thing with Yi. If Yi did not have his Q be what it is, he would be so much worse. Now, granted, what would replace it? Who knows, right? But Yi's Q is really like the bread and butter of what makes a good Yi and a great Yi. And Neferi now, I think that's her W. I think this is crazy good. And then the R. So teaching Null Dog new tricks. If Neferi scores a takedown within 7 seconds, she reveals nearby champions and can cast this ability once. So this is basically where she like auto-targets you and just rushes at you. The second cast grants her a shield. The cooldown is now obviously way higher. The mana cost is higher. The range is 900, which is not bad. The damage is now higher overall, okay. And then it gets a bonus per pack mate, which is funny. This ability is no longer blockable, and this ability can no longer be cast on minions. Thank goodness. It's weird. The ult, I gotta see how it's gonna feel, but I feel like the ult is gonna feel weak. I feel like more than anything, it's just gonna be a gap closer, which is fine. And then you use the W to stay on them, which is even better. But them switching this and making the cooldown of this, and honestly, them making untargetable is the biggest thing. I think Neferi is gonna be very, very cool now. Very, very, very cool. But we gotta see, but I'm very excited for that. And I actually do like Neferi, especially because the Q bleeds. And I love bleed. That's why I love Briar. Among other reasons. Papadopoulos. Papadopoulos has been consistently nerfed because people are figuring out her support is really lethal and really OP. Let's see what they're doing. Poppy's received a lot of changes recently, and while her top and support are both in acceptable states, her jungle has suffered. Okay, so some champions get smacked over the mouth, ADCs, for leaving their role. She has 3. Potentially more, honestly, because she could go mid too. So they're buffing her damage to the jungle by a decent amount, especially base. Maximum damage is going up to monsters. 300, 325. Nothing crazy, but Poppy's better in the jungle. Whoop-de-doo. Singed. Okay, because they have a big paragraph here, I'm assuming this is something crazy. Singed is, again, similar, I think, to, who was it before that they just made easier? Because Singed is one of the hard champions. They made someone hard kind of easy just now. Who was it? It was, I think, not Gwen. Was it Garen? No. It was Fiora, I think. Actually, fuck, was it? Draven. It was Draven. It was because of Draven. So, yeah, I believe it was Draven. So, this is where I think Singed is in a similar boat. If you're good at Singed, you win really hard. But I guess they're just trying to make these champions who are historically really hard, really high skill cap, easier. Who knows if they're going to follow the trend? Let's see. Maybe he's just OP, he's getting a nerf. Singed has historically struggled to farm against not only other champions in his lane, but also against his own allied minions. The recent increase to minion damage not only has this become more punishing, determined there's too much variance. Wow. We're slightly nerfing Singed scaling and then making it much more feasible for him to last hit minions in lane. Taking away some power Singed was getting for free before and giving players gold instead. Wait, what? What are they doing? So his base attack speed's going up. What? Respect the dibs. If a minion would die to another minion while affected by poison trail, Singed gets the kill credit instead. That's crazy. What? And then Fling. I was gonna say, like, are they trying to stop, like, proxy Singed? But who knows? And then Fling. Fling is doing... Oh my lord, what the fuck is this shit? Oh, it has an AP scaling. Oh, no, the AP scaling was always there. It got nerfed. Okay, so he's slightly worse, but he can farm more consistently in lane. So this is, in my opinion, a quality of life update. It is a big buff, though. But there's not many Singed mains out there, and then this is... I don't know. It's just making his laning better. Okay, cool. So they're really focusing on the early game laning, because I guess games maybe aren't going as long, or maybe for Swift play overall, who knows? Although they could just make it specific to Swift play. But I'm pretty sure they don't want the Swift play and the regular games to be too far apart. But yeah, this is a decent Singed buff. Not bad. Smoldy. So they know Smolder was the worst AD in the game, and they did touch him. I think they're touching him more, but let's see. Smolder's been the opposite of On Fire recently, which is ironic given his name. So we're looking to buff up the areas that isn't hitting the bar we'd like. So they're not going to touch the passive or the Q at all, probably. because that's the main problems that he used to have. So if they want it to be a problem again, they'll touch those, but I doubt they will. They'll probably give him some bullshit ult buff or something, which I think is the weakest part of his kit. His W is below the bar for last hitting early game, which they wanted because he was clearing waves like nothing and the poke was insane. His E-bolts aren't worth using offensively. Well, of course, it's his only defensive ability, of course. And now his R doesn't cook waves, it doesn't need to have a long cooldown throughout the game. Although these should light a fire within our favorite little dragon and get him back on track to receive some head pats from Mommy Smolder. Which, believe it or not, there's pictures of online that I don't want to talk about. So the W, the glob damage where he sneezes and gets his disgusting fucking mucus all over you. This is getting nerfed. At least the base damage is. The explosion damage is getting nerfed. But getting buffed scaling-wise. That doesn't seem like a good trade-off. So the E damage, flap, 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 is getting slightly higher in base and scaling, and the R cooldown is going down per rank. I feel like this is ass. I still feel like Smolder isn't good, but, granted, you're just playing for passive. I'm pretty sure the main thing is they're so scared to do anything to him because of pro play. Because of those sick mid laners. Think about that. The best thing he is a mid laner to pro players. After that, regulars are just having trouble with him. He doesn't need a coordinated team, though, and he needs time to farm, which, again, more and more I think games are getting shorter and quicker. They're putting an emphasis on the early game a lot more. Anyway, TF. TF is very bland and basic and pretty straightforward. I don't really know how he's doing. I think he's doing okay, but I can always see him getting a little bit of a buff. I don't think he's that ridiculous yet. We're giving Twisted Fate a bit of juice. He's been bricking for a long time now. Wow. He's an attack-heavy champion. Even for a mage, he has no choice but to draw minion aggro pretty consistently. We'd like for him to play out of those trades more favorably. His base armor is going up. Cool. And he has very low base armor, so that actually matters a lot. Nice. Xin Zhao. Xin is interesting. I think Xin is really cool. I'm a little warped in my vision of him because of Arena, but I do also have very nightmarish memories of what Xin used to do, especially with that fucking healing. So I would like to see him get back to his, maybe not his heyday, but pretty close to it. But Zin's not bad. Let's see what where he's doing, though. I think he could definitely be stronger. So the bonus damage on Xin Zhao on his Q is going up. And remember, you have to multiply this by 3. So it's going from 68 to 80. Wow. And from 60 to 20, 29 to 35. Okay, you know what? This is pretty big. I like this. This is a decent Xin Zhao buff. Yorick. So Yorick is interesting. I don't really know where he landed because there's not many Yorick players, although I do think Yorick is good. He's a similar champion that has options, although it's very nuanced, and I think Yorick does take a lot of skill to play. In regulars, where people don't know what they're doing, he absolutely stomps and fucking cleans fucking house. Aside from that, though, I think it's very hard. But, give me a second. Anyway, I think, Yorick has options, and I don't know if he's necessarily been on Riot's radar, but I'm a little scared because they have noticed a little bit of times where he's getting crazy. But the more people know about Yorick, the scarier it is, man. Because I think he's still he's not as bad as Poppy, but I think that he's really good in the right hands, especially with the lethality builds. But either way, what are they doing? Yorick is currently overperforming in the jungle of all places and putting camps and enemies into his graves. We're pulling on one of his jungle damage levies in order to bring him more in line with other junglers. So it's not like they're saying they don't want him jungling, but I think Yorick jungle is weird. I think he's meant to be in lane. That's a champion where I think having to, okay, maybe mid, even mid is too much to me. I think top just works well with him because he's supposed to be a long lane split pusher. So what are they doing? The Morning Mist is getting kind of almost giga nerfed. Oh my lord. 300 to 7105. Yeah, wow. Okay, so his jungle clear is going to suffer, but I feel like not too much because he does have things to do for him similar to Elise. We don't talk to Elise. I hate Elise. But wait, that rounds out all the champion changes. Let's go to the items. Serilda's Grudge. Ooh, let's see. So Serilda's is almost barely used by, in my opinion, anyone. Ironically enough, Yorick uses it. I don't really know who else uses it, though. Some people definitely do, but... excuse me. So this is being adjusted this patch to better match assassins by being pushed towards armor pen and away from ability haste. This isn't meant to be a very large buff, but should feel better to use for most assassins. So the armor pen is going up, which is scary. The ability haste is going down, which is fine. This is getting more lethal, which I like. Warmogs. Warmogs is interesting. Only a couple people build it. Obviously, hard tanks. I don't feel like hard tanks are really in anymore. But I always used to get Warmogs because laning, I think, used to be longer. In the team fights, it helps initially, but unless you, like, back off them back in, usually, for most fights, you're going in, you're either dying or you're winning. So I feel like a lot of Warmog's passive is mostly for in lane, not really for fighting. But I'm not too sure, because it does give a hefty amount of health, but I feel like because laning phase, I think, is just getting shorter, and things are getting more early game focused, I don't think this is going to be as good, so I hope they buff it. Warmogs had a pretty significant power shift moving into the season, and unfortunately ended up on the weaker side. This patch, we're buffing up the capstone effect to make sure Sam stays a later in the game purchase on most champions, and lowering the gold cost now, that's less in danger of being poached by supports. Wow. So the gold is getting lower. Gain bonus health equal to 10% of bonus health from items. So this works really well with Heartsteel too. Jesus Lord. Gain bonus health equal to 12% of items. So it's making you even more tanky. So they're really defining it as a late game thing. Does it still give the regen though? I actually don't even remember if they took that out or not. But either way, more Warmogs is better. Overall, literally in every way. Cool. Now, lane swaps. I'm curious to see what their stats said, because this was a very heavy-handed approach to saying, hey, this tactic, which realistically is only used by pro play, is not to our liking. Regular games, this shouldn't be an issue. But pro play, they're really dictating, like, hey, we don't like this. And apparently, according to what they said, the players don't like it either, but who knows. When we implemented our anti-lane swap changes last patch, we want to affect regular play as little as possible. We're tuning the system to further reduce the impact on regular play by alleviating the frequency and severity. Shortening the time frame, reducing the overall minion penalty. So what are they doing? We hope to have best of both worlds for pro and regular. So start time is a little later, end time is a little earlier. Minion gold XP is 25%. If you're about to trigger lane swaps on your teammate, the warning message is now clearer. Wow. Interesting. This is whatever. So they're not taking it away. Bounties. We're taking another big swig at tuning pass on champion bounty suppression. We're decoupling time. Okay. We're choosing 6 minutes at the first version, which should give it some time for over one laning comebacks. We're still tuning it. Gold lead detection time. Wow, so it's really early now. Bounty suppression by lead severity. I don't fully understand this shit, but I'm assuming they're just trying to make things more fair. I don't know if I trust them on that, but I don't want to stick on this too long because I'm not playing Rift right now, so it doesn't matter to me. Otacon, and of course they're gonna fuck with it more, but I think we're finally getting to a point where Otacon is like good. Like they're not gonna touch him much. We overshot the tower dive adjustment, so this patch we're readjusting it. So again, they're just gonna do little tweaks here and there, which is fine. To the arena. Okay, so I've been having fun with arena. I think some people have complained like, oh, arena's so sweaty, this, and that. I think the best thing they did is take away ranked, which is good. It should be a for fun mode. I think Brave is the best thing they did. Although I think they should incentivize it more. And I think that we're going to have people in the game that just want to min-max and, like, you know, be as efficient, as good as possible. But I think Arena is very, very good, and I'm very happy to play it, and it counts for the pass, so it's all good with me. They just need to make the pass better, which they're not going to do, sadly. But I've been loving Arena. I just hope it gets better, and they iterate on it more and just give us new fun augments. But it's been good so far. I really like it. I think the champion cameo change is great. Almost everything is great. The only thing I have to say bad is some games feel really just like you're getting fucked. And for a player, if you don't know what you're doing and you're matched against people who do, which I don't know if it's random or skill-based, because it isn't ranked, but you can still get matched with people who know what they're doing, maybe if you're higher level, I don't know. But I feel like it could be very, in a way, feast or famine, where it's like, it's almost too dependent on luck, which is not fully the case, and I'm pretty good, so I can say this. And I've won a lot of arena games, too, in like, comps I didn't think I would. But I think if you're smart, you can make it work. Obviously, there's a factor of luck, but luck matters, but also so does being smart, and you could really force some comps, too, if you get lucky enough, while also being smart enough. And I like that. I don't know how the average player feels. I feel like the average player gets fucked more than they don't, though. So I think maybe make things a little bit more equalized. I don't know how, but let's see. The first patch of this run of Arena is out, and we're so excited to see so many players playing. We added a ton of new systems and content, so we're looking to polish some rough edges. Cool. Looking to bring power allies on both sides. So I wonder if they're going to do champion buffs nerf specific. Some of our guests of honor. Yeah, guest of honor has been an interesting thing. I feel like some are definitely shit. Excuse me. Next patch will introduce some more guests of honor. Thank goodness, so they're going to keep things fresh. Arena's landed quite balanced overall. This patch we're adjusting some allier champions, like mana scaling buffs and the like. We're also doing a swath of system changes. Ooh. So mages are too strong, and enchanters who are weak. On how the balance principles in rear, Vominos trying to keep things fresh and exciting. We won't want the game to become stale to the point where everyone picks the same champion and augment, although that's not possible every game. The champion, yes. The augment, no. That brings to boring, repetitive gameplay and overall poor play experience. So what are they doing? Rise looks like he's getting nerfed. Swain is getting nerfed. Zoe looks like she's getting buffed. I'm not going to read all these. I'm just going to look at the ones that matter to me. Cho'Gath is getting nerfed. He was really good in this. I'm surprised Malzahar isn't getting touched. Malzahar is really good depending too. And then Callista. Ooh. I think she's getting buffed. Cool. So guest of honor. Darius reduced everyone HP to 50. Oh, it was by 50 to 50. Wow. Refreshes flashes round cooldown when this happens. Okay. When team is eliminated, now grants 500 gold in addition to the 5 HP. Wow. Darius got buffed. Cled's 1 is ass. I hate Cled's 1. But it also takes too long, so I'm glad they're lessening it. Samira is cool. You get gold if you already have the juice. Scion. Oh, I like this. It spawns immediately. When the Ring of Fire moves around, it will now avoid the edges. Nice. Vlad can now grant Chauffeur, which is chaotic as shit. But everyone has it, so it's cool. And then Elise. The Cocoon health was pretty high. Where almost on some champions it felt almost impossible to do. And the Cocoons are larger because they were pretty small. This is great all around. Nice. So Augment. Max curse power per round per curse source beyond the first. They're increasing that, which is great. More power fantasy. Full curse sources are counted per team, not per player. Oh! That's pretty fucking crazy. True damage from curse power obtained the round. That's fine. They could remove that. No one cares. Normal augments. Now gets 2 random augments. 1 silver and gold. Prismatic egg. I hate prismatic egg. Firefox is whatever. And fruits of labor. Range check removed. Wow. Stat anvils. Champions that do not have an AP ratio will no longer be offered this. Thank goodness. Add a tracker for total gold gained. Nice. I am not looking at all these. And then finally Swift Play. Okay, so that's all Arena. Nice. So we're adjusting the time it takes for Elder Dragon and Baron buffs to scale up in Swift Play to match the shorter game length. So it goes from 15 to 30 to... Oh, no, it just scales. Okay, cool. They scale up faster. Nice. Okay, Mythic Shop update. Hopefully this is the last thing. This patch we're introducing a new iteration of the Mythic Shop that will change how we do rotations. So they're not changing how it works, just when it's coming, I guess. They're going to have a blog out, which I don't really care about. The new version of the shop will be going live on Thursday, so in 2 days. Going forward, the shop will randomly select content from the list available, and each category will have its own associated timer. Once the timer expires, new content will be randomly selected. So featured content manually selected does not expire. Newest shop, prestige, Nexus finishers, things from the past or current event. Bi-weekly, 12 randomly selected mythic skins. Weekly, 8 randomly chromas. Daily, 4 randomly selected boards, that kind of stuff. Okay, cool. So it's more random. It's like a constantly rotating shop. This will allow content to cycle quicker and give you more chances to get that one skin you've been waiting for. Cool, because eventually the pool is getting big, and this is kind of what happened to skins. A lot of skins, I think they just shoved into the game without having a lot of quality to them. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, anyway. So this is where I think it's good. So unlike, unless they lower the quality of mythic skins, unlike what happened in regular league, which I think is still happening sadly, and we're going to see it very, very soon with the newest legendary skin. This is where I think in regular league they tried to overflow the pool with just crap, Either A, because they knew people were getting a lot from chests and they needed to just increase it, and also B, because they're greedy and lazy. But hopefully it doesn't happen. But this is a good thing. Cycling stuff out quickly is great. So what are they doing? See more offerings for chroma icons, awards, emotes. Previously you would only see 8 accessories in the shop during a patch. Now you'll be able to see up to 56. Ooh. I really don't use the Mythic shop. I really don't care for it. I feel like they should add something else with a little bit extra oomph, but or as time goes on, maybe more skins and stuff will come out. But I have a lot of Mythic Essence too. As we could see here, if we go to the loot tab here, not only am I literally hoarding all of this shit, which now is first, thank God. I never knew they changed that. It will always go to the Sanctum first, but in the Mythic shop, I have 1,035 Essence. I don't want any of these skins. The Prestige skins are cool, but if I don't like the theme of Prestige or Crystal Indominus or Hextech, what is left for me? There's not enough variety, and I don't want fucking chromas either. Mythic Essence, or not Essence, sorry. Mythic, whatever the fuck this is called, used to be, in my opinion, worth more. Now it's worth less. And I will always say this, they took out the option to just get a random, like, skin shard from it, and I hate that. But regardless, it is what it is. So, better, but not the best it's been, in my opinion. The show off here is we can't tell you specifically what's coming because we won't know either. We'll still be monitoring the catalog and making sure things are rotating through, which is good. We're also looking to experiment with the volume and frequency of these changes, so let us know what you think about these updates. And if they keep pushing out prestiges and stuff, which they don't even know what they're going to do with those, if they keep pushing those out, excuse me, this is just overall great in general, for most people. So next we have the Sanctum and Quantum Galaxy Slayer Z. With the delay of Sanuzal Mord, we're going to be extending Quantum Galaxy Slayer Z's banner. So basically to just have something. I thought the set skin was still on there, so let's actually see that now. Oh no, it's literally just said, okay, so they want to make money, so they're having at least something on here. And this is cool, but is this, like, this should be its own skin. But I think it's a chroma. I honestly don't know. It is cool as shit though, but not for the amount of money it is. If it was completely new and had some extra shit, it'd be crazy, but hopefully Sanuzal ends up exceeding our expectations, although I doubt it will, but let's see what they do. But yeah, they want to have something on banner, so there it is. Prestige Battle Academia Kiana. When testing and preparing the new shop, we discovered a bug where the Prestige Kiana listing wasn't properly granting her border. We weren't able to get this fixed in time for release. How is that even a problem? That's so weird. Man, this fucking spaghetti code like client is so stupid. Ramona, if you purchase her, she will come without the icon border. We will be retroactively granting this for players at a later date. But they don't have an ETA. I don't know how. Okay, and then Black Rose Beats. What the fuck is this? The Black Rose arrives on Summoner's Rift this patch, and with them some music. If you're interested, make sure your in-game music is turned on. Brand new spawn music has been added. If you watched Arcane, keep an ear out. Shit, it's probably from Season 2. An additional layer of the Black Rose female choir will be added throughout the different stages of the game. Well, it's only on Summoner's Rift. God damn it. Fuck! I'm probably not going to hear this then. And then bug fixes, we don't care. Okay, cool. A lot of interesting non-game stuff. Okay, and then we have the skins. So, let's talk about these. Number one, this Kane skin, very, very good. A little lower quality with the scythe than normal, but overall, I think this almost could have been the legendary. This skin is very, very good. Really hits a lot of things I like, especially the Rost form. The Rost form is crazy looking. Very nice. It almost doesn't look Battle Academia, and that's the biggest complaint I heard with these skins. Their backs and the lore behind them, all the lore and all the other Battle Academia skins, the skins show off their powers. They show off the weapons and stuff. This is more high school fantasy heartthrob, like, ooh, kissy, kissy, ooh, woo. It's like, what the fuck? I mean, you know, it almost feels like this should be more like the Valentine skins than anything. But regardless, we have Battle Academia, Rakan, and XAYAH. The fact that Rakan isn't legendary is criminal, and the fact that the XAYAH one is legendary is also criminal. The XAYAH one almost 1-for-1, I don't think completely, but almost 1-for-1 reuses base animations out the wazoo. Worse than I think any other skin has ever done. And I think this skin, ironically enough, is like part of the proceeds are getting donated somewhere, either to esports or to God knows what. But they made it like a skin where it's supposed to benefit something, and they made it ass. We're literally getting a Shaco Legendary, I believe, next patch for April Fools. That shit is insanity. That skin is actually so fucking good. It is crazy, and it's a Legendary. you know, we haven't seen it yet. You can go see the preview if you like, but oh my god, it is night and day. Like, this should be a 1350. It is not that good. The coolest thing are the wings, but that's such a small thing. It doesn't forgive anything else. I think the unique VO is also not there, but that's because of a voice actor strike right now, which is a big can of worms I don't want to get into, but that's affecting a lot of games, not just League. But the voice isn't there, but that's getting added in later, so I won't fault them for that. But just base animation wise and how it looks, the effects are nice. It's just, how could you not have animations? It's ridiculous. And the fact that it's legendary and the Rakan one isn't, again, is like, what the fuck. Big disappointment, probably the worst legendary skin in the game. I almost lost hope until I saw that Shaco skin. This Shaco skin coming out, it's sad it's for Shaco, but god, it is a good legendary. And it feels like such a sad thing that it's such a mixed bag. Like, oh, some legendaries are good, some legendaries are bad. They delayed the Mord skin, right? They heard our stuff, they delayed the Mord skin. So I'm like, oh, maybe they know there's a problem with quality. And then they release this crap, and it's like, okay, I guess they only choose to care sometimes. Yet again, ADCs get fucking shafted. At this point, this skin is not a legendary. Literally by their own metrics, this skin should not be marked as a legendary. It does not have new animations. It's terrible. The Kiana skin is cool. It's prestige. I didn't know it was prestige. It's whatever. She's hot. She's cute. She looks like a punk goth. I really like it. But Kiana's hard. I'm probably not going to play her. But it's still a nice skin. And it's prestige, but who knows what the fuck that means anymore. But overall, we have the chromas. Not many for Kayn. A decent amount for Rakan and some for XAYAH. Very, very disappointed with the skin, though. Very naughty. And it's definitely going to get factored in my rating. But either way, that's the patch. A lot of stuff besides balance happened. So, let's go through it all. The LP refunding is great. The Champion Masteries, whatever. The Your Shop coming back is good. All the buffs were whatever. And the Fury and Gwen shit is the biggest thing, which is nice. Gwen stuff is interesting. I don't think it's bad, per se. Jhin got buffed, which is good. Jinx got nerfed, but it's nothing crazy. It's got a stupid buff, in my opinion. Everything else is pretty whatever. I'm very excited for Nefarious. So honestly, balance-wise, nothing too bad, honestly. Quality of life for Singed. Smolder got nonsense buffs. IMO. Excuse me. 2 items got buffed, and then the systems. This one really doesn't affect most people, so it's nice, but it's whatever. The bounties we have to see, Otacon, whatever, and then Arena, not much, but okay amount. Honestly, it's a okay patch. I think the only thing that lowers it is the XAYAH thing, really, honestly. I was going to rate it a 7, but the XAYAH thing brings it down to 6.5. 5 is completely neutral, so 6.5 is like, okay, this was an alright patch. Some pretty good changes. It would have been on a 7, again, if it wasn't for the XAYAH skin. But either way, that's going to be it. This took an hour. I fucking hate this shit. I might not do it, but I probably will. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. If you want to see more of me, watch me at Twitch TV/Tecnics channel.